What up, book dwellers? Welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be doing a review, of The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I actually finished the whole series in the last 20-ish days. Started at the beginning of July, and I just yesterday finished The Raven King. These are definitely now some of my favorite books. I think I have a little bit of a problem now. I pretty much finished The Raven King and immediately went on Redbubble and was like, how many Ronan Lynch things can I have in my house? So I'm gonna go through these one by one because I do have a decent amount of thoughts on each one that I want to share that are slightly different from each other. I don't really feel like making a 20-minute video. So keep an eye out for each one of these, as I go along. I'll be trying to upload them fairly consistently. I'm not really sure. We don't have an upload schedule. It's especially difficult because there's two of us, but I definitely want to be uploading consistently, so we'll see when these get uploaded, but definitely keep an eye out for them. So, as I said, today I'm going to be talking about the first book in the series, which is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I gave this book 5 stars, absolutely adored it. This may actually be my favorite one in the whole series, just because, it's the start of everything, and it's fun to get to know characters. It's fun to know characters, but I don't know, it's fun to get into a plot, I guess. So this is a story about a girl named Blue, and she comes from a family of psychics. Her mom is psychic, she has tons of psychic relatives, her mom's friends are all psychic, and Blue is not psychic. She's the only one in her family, in her house. Everyone she knows is psychic except for her. So she actually has a different talent, different power, which is to amplify that kind of spiritual energy and to help psychics, be more psychic, I guess. I don't really know how to put that, but, to help with that kind of thing. So she'll often be in the room for readings and things like that, just to help out. And Blue, one way that she helps is by going with her mom to this graveyard every St. Mark's Eve, I think it was called, and she will basically write down the names of spirits that her mom sees, because on St. Mark's Eve all these spirits parade through the graveyard, and they're the spirits of people who will die in the next 12 months. So she goes with her half-aunt, I guess, on this St. Mark's Eve, and she sees a spirit for the first time. And she goes and asks him his name, and he says that his name is Gansey. And this is the first time that she's ever seen a spirit, and her half-aunt explains that is either because she killed him or because he's her true love. So obviously, it's a little weird, but to add to that, Blue has also been told her whole life that she will kill her true love when she kisses him. So basically, we come down to Gansey can either be her true love and she kills him, or he's not her true love and she kills him. Either way, she's going to kill him. So that's a whole thing. But then we actually meet Gansey, and Gansey is a private school boy going to this local private school, and he is on this mission for the last 7 years to find this sleeping Welsh king called Glendower. And he does this is working on this, with the help of his friends Ronan, Adam, and Noah, all of whom have their own issues, which I'll probably get into later on. But Blue ends up meeting Gansey and joining the group, and everything just kind of progresses from there. So that's kind of an extended version of the plot, but it's a really hard book to describe without going into that much detail, I think. In general, what I really liked about this book was just the general aesthetic was really cool. I loved the aesthetic of this book, and a lot of that, hello Mal, a lot of the aesthetic, I think, came from this really sciencey type magic system. I know it's not necessarily supposed to be sciencey, but the way it's all described is so interesting because it's spiritual energy lines, and it kind of really goes into energy and how energy is used like that. I just thought that was really, really cool. And as we progress through the books, it just gets more and more like difficult to comprehend almost. I feel like I saw someone say one time that people who read these series only really understand 70% of it. And I think I understood more than 70%, but it is a lot. Like, it is very complicated and complex magic, and I thought that was really cool. Another thing I really liked about this, which I think everyone really likes about this series, is just how great the characters are. Like, you really fall in love with them, and you want them all to do well, and you want them all to be okay, and that's not good when one of them is, like, guaranteed to die. Like, that's really bad. But yeah, they all just have really interesting personalities and arcs, and I've honestly never seen this many perfect character arcs in a series. Like, these were real people. Like, they felt like real people. More than any other series I have ever read. I also really loved the plot twists. Like, this book is filled with plot twists, and honestly, the whole series is filled with plot twists, and that is amazing. And they're plot twists to the point where, like, oh, okay, I did not see that coming, or I should have seen that coming and I didn't. And I loved that. Like, if you want a book with good plot twists, or just 4 books with good plot twists, this is a good series for you. Yeah, so I think that's really all I had to say, non-spoilery. So if you haven't read this book, I really urge you to read it before going into the spoilery section, because, like, wow, please just experience this world. Like, I just want everyone to read this, and I want everyone to tell me who their favorite character is. Okay, so, goodbye people who have not read this, and hello people who have. I kind of made notes for this video, and the first thing I wrote was Ronan Fangirl Hour, because, oh my gosh, I literally love this book so much, I'm gonna cry. Like, he is my favorite character probably in anything ever. Like, I have non-stop been talking about Ronan Lynch for 20 days, and I think everyone is tired of hearing about it. That's how much I love this character. I, like I said, I went on Redbubble after I finished reading The Raven King, and I was like, all the Ronan Lynch merch, I would like to own all of it, please. And I literally have, like, bookmarked, like, 5 different posters and pillows and duvet covers. Like, I just want Ronan in my life. And, like, oh my gosh, he's such a mess, but he's so great. And, yeah, I mean, like, I really can't go into too much detail because a lot of, you know, like, I've read all of them, so, like, I don't want to go into too much detail and ruin some of them, but from the first book, I think I just really loved Ronan because you could tell that there was more going on with him. Like, you know, you could tell that there was, like, he was a mess, but he was a mess for a reason, and with a lot of other stuff going on, and I loved that. I loved the depth of him, and his arc was my favorite in this book and in the whole series. Like, wow. Like I said, I don't know how much detail I can go into on this book alone, because he doesn't really have much of a place in this book, but I can just take that right into another big thing, which, speaking of plot twists, that ending hurt me. And I just kind of sat there for a little bit afterwards and was like, oh, okay, that changes a lot of things. And it really did. It really did change a lot of things. Because, you know, you gotta go back through the whole book and be like, oh, that's been happening this whole time? Like, that makes a lot of sense. I thought it was so cool. She answered, like, all the questions of the book in one sentence. Like, what? But yeah, I really loved that, and I'm sure everyone else did, because what? Like, amazing. One thing I really wanted to talk about was my feelings about Adam Parrish, because I feel like everyone has a lot of feelings about Adam Parrish, and there's a good reason for that, because he changes a lot over the whole series, but especially in the first book. You kind of see him deteriorate a bit, and have a little bit of trouble, just because, you know, he is in an abusive situation, and he's trying to deal with it best he can, but I don't think he's, you know, dealing with it in the best ways. So I did start this book really liking Adam, and I know a lot of people did. I was actually, you know, I talked to one friend I know who's been reading this series, and he said he started the first book and was, like, in love with Adam, and I was just, at that point, I was at the end of the 3rd book, and I was like, I knew what happened in the first book, obviously, so I was like, you know, I don't know if you will end up liking Adam, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, so by the end of the first book, I think I just kind of didn't really like Adam, which was unfortunate because I wanted to, but I just really didn't. And so it was like, I kept saying at the beginning of the first book, I'm like, wow, I have 5 new children. And then I'm like, okay, I have 4 new children and this guy, like, he's here too. But yeah, so I didn't really like him by the end of this book, which is unfortunate. But overall, I liked everybody else a lot. I thought they had, you know, this book had a lot of great characters, and I'm a fan. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about this book. I know I didn't say a lot of bad things about it, because I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about it. I really, really, really liked this book. As I said, it was my favorite in the series, and I gave it 5 stars. We'll talk a little bit more about some things that I don't like about the other books as I get to them, because there are things that I have problems with in this series, but I really don't have any problems with this book. So yeah, that's all I really have to say. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. As I said earlier, please tell me who your favorite character is. Tell me why. I'm very interested. I think they're all just like very distinct personalities, so that's interesting to me. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.